Okay, friends, I have on the screen today. This is Pastor John Amanchukru. Listen, man, this is his book, Erase. I'll tell you something about this man. When he speaks, you listen because he's got facts for days. He's very balanced. And he's going to address a number of things here. I will say, as a minister, this is good to hear. He's destroying the entire spirit of the woke ideology in one single, should I say, monologue. Well, there's actually another person he's talking to, but he's going to do a number of things here that I will say it blew my mind. The level of work this man has done to bring about his argument. Comment below, share your thought and perspective with me as you listen to this. I'm so glad to hear ministers talking like that, okay? Let me not waste your time. Without further ado, let us now get into the heart of the message.
The abortion industry is steeped in racism. Margaret Sanger, all right? She's a type for Gretchen Whitmer. Let me say that again. Margaret Sanger and Gretchen Whitmer are synonymous. Margaret Sanger said that she wanted to exterminate the Negro population and that the black minister would be the person that she used if it ever occurred to any rebellious Negroes who did not go along with her ideology of exterminating blacks. So she used influential black speakers like W.E.B. Du Bois. She sent the Margaret Sanger Award to Dr. King. She was very instrumental in conjuring up support from the black community with the intent of getting blacks to pay for abortions. And as a result of that, since 1973, 20 million blacks are missing. We're gone. All right. Blacks make up 13% of the overall population in America. Wow. Black women account for 8% and black men account for 5% of that number. Of the black women who are still ovulating, there's only 3 to 4% of that overall 8% number. And so 3 to 4% of black women account for nearly 38 to 40% of the overall abortions in the U.S.
That's not good.
There is a Holocaust being wrought upon the black community. Let me share this with you. In order for a people group to be sustained over 25 years, it requires a fertility rate of 2.1. All right. In 1950, the total black fertility rate was 3.6.
Wow.
In 1975, it was 2.3.
Wow.
In 2016, it was 1.832. In 2017, it was 1.824. In 2018, it was 1.792. In 2019, it was 1.774. What does this mean? It means that the black community is a dying community and people group. There's something called death rattle, Garrett. And death rattle sets in 23 hours before a person is going to take their last breath. And death rattle is a scary, I mean, it's a haunting sound. It's when a person is
I've heard that.
And it creates a rattling sound as they let the air out of their lungs, and their lungs begin to fill up with fluid. It signifies that they're getting ready to die. There is a reverberating death rattle in America. For whites, of course, for Hispanics, but especially for the black community. And the reason why I'm so bent out of shape, all right, and I'm passionate about this issue, because even when you consider the black preachers in Michigan, The majority of the black preachers in Michigan are siding with Gretchen Whitmer, who at least 10 times during the last election posted on social media that I'm going to fight to kill as many babies. She should have said Negroes, right? She should have said what Margaret Sanger said. All right. Because at the end of the day, the people who are being killed the most are black people. And what do the black people do? The Negroes, in Margaret Sanger's words, they go down to the voting booth after shouting, "No justice, no peace." Say his name, George Floyd. Say her name, Breonna Taylor. Say his name, Michael Brown. Say his name, shout his name. And they go down there and they sign their name on a documentation supporting the killing of their own community. It's foolish. It's foolish. Blacks.
Keep going. I mean, you're on fire, baby.
Listen, it's foolish. Blacks have become the cheap prostitutes of the Democratic Party.
Oh boy.
They screw us and barely pay us, and we keep coming back for more. Every election cycle.
He calls blacks the chief prostitute of the Democratic Party. Wow.
The cheap prostitute.
Cheap. Oh my Lord. Cheap prostitute. Prostitutes of the Democratic Party. Gosh, what a title.
Of the Democratic Party. They screw us and barely pay us, and we keep coming back for more. Every election cycle, white liberals use blacks as useful idiots. They dangle the carrot of free stuff. They dangle the carrot of reparation. You know, that's what's going on in California right now. Let's find a way to compensate black people for slavery in America. That came about after the death of George Floyd, a resurgence of that in California. They created a task force, right? That's in 2020 when that took place, rather. It took place in 2020 where they created that task force. But in 2022 in California, they lobbied for Proposition 1, which was a bill that would kill babies all the way up to 9 months. Here's the takeaway. We'll compensate you, black people and others in California. We'll compensate you, black people in particular, for enslaving your ancestors if you are willing to allow us to kill your future.
Lord have mercy.
And that is what's taking place. And man, I'm not woke, I'm awakened.
Say that again, brother. Say that again.
To allow us to kill your future. And that is what's taking place. And man, I'm not woke, I'm awakened.
Exactly. Woo. Right on point. Oh boy. Yes. Pastor John Amanchukwu is on point. You know, I mean, the sad part of this whole deal is not only the level of ignorance that a lot of blacks still have when it comes to some of this stuff. When I hear certain blacks pushing for democratic policies that are not only causing how could I say this? Not only canceling children as a result, but even their neighborhoods also is largely impacted by these policies. This doesn't mean Republican policies don't do anything like that either, but they are much better safety-wise. However, it's like when I see blacks pushing for stuff like this, and I'm like, these are the same policies that are destroying your neighborhoods and your family. But it's the level of the brainwash is really, really bad. And I had to like wake up from that. First, he took my relationship with the Lord. And secondly, I started asking questions. And when I began asking questions, I realized these people are playing with us. They don't care about black people. It's like, no, this is about a narrative and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as a young black man has been canceled, and if the person is Caucasian or maybe the police, they show up and make a big deal, and they're talking about how much racism that exists and stuff like that. But the same people will not care about how black folks are just erasing as a group. They don't care about the violence happening in black communities. Inner city people and people group are the ones dealing with some of these issues. Even the race hustlers will not address some of this stuff. So he's like, do you really care about black people? But I think as blacks, man, I don't care what color you are if you're watching this. It's just the danger is hearing the information and act like we don't hear. There's a great danger in that. That's why throughout the Bible you'll hear whoever has ears to hear, let them hear. It's bad. The Bible tells us, everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. When the rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell. Great was the fall of it. This the danger right there, is the fact we hear, but we're not building. And that's why God is calling us to be wise. Like black people, we got to be wise. These politicians, I'm telling you, they're not for some of y'all. These politicians do not care. We got to be wise about our votes. We got to be wise about how we raise our children. We got to be wise about saving our marriages, because abortion is the symptoms of fornication. That's what it is. So if you can get married and find the wife or the husband that God has for you, and work and learn to stay together, work out your issues. Don't quit because things get tough. This is where you fix the problem. Now, I know we got to deal with the politics and the politics and the policies that comes with their notion. I get it. But unless you fix the broken home in black families, the government dependence, assistance, and all this welfare stuff that they're handing to us that is separating your husband from the home, all of that, unless that is addressed, if we don't deal with these things, we are in serious trouble. And I think Mr. Aman Chukru is on point. There's a lot of stuff in the black community that has to be fixed. And I think we got to look at how we process what love is, relationship. We have to rethink that. And I think hip hop has brainwashed many black people and give them a skewed perception of what relationship is. We think, some young men think relationship is to lay around with all these different girls. That's not what relationship is. Some young ladies think the more men they lay with and body counts and so on, the better it is for you. But this is where it happens. This is where the black race began to die. It's in the mentality, in the perceptions that they have. I know it because I've suffered from it. I understand it because Jesus had to save me from it. And I'm not sitting here throwing stones. I'm sitting here saying, I know what is going on. I know what's happening in these communities. I get their mentality. Some of them are brainwashed. Some of them, it's not their fault. Some of them don't know better. But some of them are doing what is right. But I hope black people wake up before it is too late. Thank you, Mr. Aman Shukru. This was great. I think this was powerful. Very encouraging, full of facts. And it's hard. It's hard to argue against the facts. Can you? I dare you. Thank you for listening, friends. Like and subscribe to the page. Hit the bell icon for more. Link to this video in the description below. Without further ado, I love you. I'm praying for you. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.